Sublime magnificence.
Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen, a weekly podcast we do on Tuesdays. And when I say we, obviously I'm including the man to my side, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Hey, Omari. Thanks for having me back. Who else is still on a high from RRR? I haven't stopped. I can't stop. I won't stop.
That's awesome, man. I'm enjoying the fact that happened. That has been that big of a hit. But yes, that's right. This guy hasn't seen where we trade things back and forth. I've been on a similar high with RRR. I've been wanting to watch. I've been craving watching it, but I just haven't had the time. But nonetheless, we talk about things. We trade one thing. It's things that one guy has seen and the other guy hasn't. And it's awards season still. We're still playing another movie from that, or that has to deal with that. However, it's not a movie that's up for a nomination this year. It's a movie. Well, I'll let Bill explain it because we're watching In Bruges.
Correct. It is In Bruges, 2008 film. Written and directed by Martin McDonagh, starring Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. Guilt-stricken after a job gone wrong, hitman Ray and his partner await orders from their ruthless boss in Bruges, Belgium, the last place in the world Ray wants to be. I suggested this movie because there is a movie being nominated this year called The Banshees of Inisherin, and it is written and directed by Martin McDonagh, and it stars Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. It is the big reuniting of this trio after the success of the film In Bruges.
Okay.
So, feel like, that's not something to suggest to a person who maybe hasn't seen
In Bruges.
Although, these aren't
related. There's just
they're not related at all.
The
Correct.
actors
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same vibes.
Yeah.
So and also I was interested in revisiting it. This is something that I saw around its time. 2008 is when it was released, and I know I saw it around then, maybe just when it got to home video. Whatever that form may be, obviously digital home video, but then I don't know, maybe one more other viewing, showing it to someone at some point.
Okay.
Maybe, but otherwise I was interested in revisiting it, and I know it was nominated for one Oscar. I believe that was screenplay. I'm bringing it up right now. So it was nominated for Best Original Screenplay, but it was a hot contender that entire season for several of the acting awards and for Best Film itself.
Okay. Cool.
So when I first suggested it, any clue? Know what it was?
None whatsoever.
So did that give you any kind of expectations to it?
I had, like I said, I hadn't heard of him. Like, what is In Bruges? I wouldn't have been able to tell you Bruges, Belgium was a place. But American education system at work, whatever. Bottom line is, I ain't know it. However, as to what I was expecting, I believe you said something about action-y last week. I wasn't sure. Also, there was a discussion about, like, possible topic that would be coming up in the movie with the comment you sent, so I expected that as well.
Right.
Yeah, about a subject matter we'll continue on. So I'm like, somehow that's involved. That's all I really knew. But aside from that, no. In Bruges, Colin Farrell, apparently. Not that I have any problem with Colin Farrell. He seems like cool dude in a lot of the roles he plays. But yeah, and then starting the movie, I'll go ahead and get into the initial reactions.
Yeah. Once it gets rolling, what are you thinking?
I really like the Irish accent just as an accent, especially when you got like the thick Irish accent, just like, oh,
Did you throw on subtitles?
Yeah.
I almost threw on subtitles.
I
didn't end up doing it, but
I just kind of have them on anyway.
Okay.
But I did have the subtitles on, but I saw that, and I don't know what the first thing I saw Colin Farrell in, but I feel like whatever that was, it might have been the only time he didn't use the accent. Because I feel like whenever I first saw him doing the Irish accent, I'm like, damn, he does a really good Irish accent. Oh, wait, was he Irish the whole time? And then every other time I see him, he's using his Irish accent. So I don't know what it is. But
yeah, I couldn't tell you if he's Irish as Bullseye, which I know you would have seen the original Daredevil movie.
I don't remember, man. Either way.
I would guess he's not Irish. I just thought
I was like, something that seeing him speaking Irish reminded me of. And of course, I try not to look at the damn synopses before going in to a movie because, I don't know, sometimes they give the whole plot away. This one, not so much. But, yeah. So, I didn't know. Oh, I was like, I don't know what Bruges is either. Apparently, it's in Belgium. Anyway. But yeah, clearly early on you can see like they're going around this place, but clearly Colin Farrell's character Ray is going through some shit. But I also was like, not exactly sure how likable he's supposed to be with the way he like talks to some people. And then he pisses off the Americans going up the stairs, and the other guy comes out like, "What are you doing?" He's like, American, isn't it? Or American, isn't it? You know, the American in it. I'm like, oh my god, of course. But then they end up both being right about the people, as we find out later.
Right.
They're like, oh, you're overweight. You probably shouldn't go up that many stairs. Fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, these are big folks.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's a reality that you should accept as a big folk. Like I'm in the big folk club. Like
Same.
Europe is not made for us.
Yeah,
there's a lot of crooks and crannies that we're not going to be able to get into.
Yeah, like Colin Farrell was like, "There's too many stairs," and then the other guy's like, "It's really narrow in that staircase." And then later they're like, "American died in the staircase." It's like, oh,
yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, he is not a likable character, and he's a dummy. He's a dummy. I think the thing about Ray is the whole thing about Ray is he is nothing but surface level. There is nothing behind those eyes, and he is not seeing anything behind yours.
Yeah.
And through the course of the movie is his dumb ass breaking through that surface, probably what we're seeing as an audience for the very first time. But yeah, at the beginning, he is just, man, he's a dumb, ignorant asshole.
And just straight back into just bad. Just tell you like it is, not realizing whether or not he should, regardless of whether or not he should. He's telling you what he thinks in that moment at all times, and he doesn't even really lie much either. He's just straight up, this is what it is.
He's zero filtered, and yeah.
But yeah, it took me a second to understand entirely what was going on in the thing, because I'm like, what? Well, I was gonna say, because I'm like, what's going on? But no, it took me a while to understand entirely why they would go clear. Like they keep saying like, oh, we were sent here, we gotta be here. They like slowly try to build up like this whole idea until we get to, and I'll just say it's like my first like standout moment.
Yeah. We'll jump right into it.
Of him at the church confessing to the priest that he did murder. And the way they did the flashback, I thought it was like him talking, or they make it seem like he's talking to pastor there. Because I think
Yeah.
he just pissed off Ken about something at a church, and then you see him like kind of think about something, and then next thing you know, he's confessing to murder, and then it's like, oh, who did you murder? And then he goes, you, and shoots the shit out of him. And okay, so he killed the kid by accident because he shot through the pastor, which obviously it's spoilers if people didn't realize already. But
And it looks like he's like a half an inch off. Like it looks like it just like
yeah, like great,
it's
like,
rough.
yeah,
Yeah, it just like goes right. Ugh.
yeah, and but at the same time, I'm like, damn, that you should have been better about the shot. But also, Pastor, what were you doing? You're actively being shot at in the thing, and you run to stand in front of the kid.
I mean, yeah, he's employed by a gangster. That gangster is not killing a priest. Like the gangster we meet at the end of the movie is not killing a priest all willy-nilly.
Yeah.
That priest is in the world of the movie that we haven't seen, that priest has probably done some shit. Did he deserve to get assassinated in the middle of his church? That probably absolutely not. Or maybe. I don't know.
There were errors made by both people, is all I'm saying. Colin could have done it a little bit more discreetly.
Absolutely, a little cleaner.
Yeah, and the priest could have, not stood right in front of.
Yeah.
Not changed toward the kid the murderer probably didn't even know about.
When you have the mesh screen clearly showing the man's head, why aim through the wood shooting at his legs and hips?
Also true.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I thought he would. I thought he would shoot him in the head because he also.
And he almost goes for it. It's like
he had the gun up here. He's like
shows him the gun, and he's like, psych.
That's
Bang.
But so that's obviously a standout moment, though. It was a cool intro to like murdering somebody, but bad execution.
Yeah, and it's an interesting moment of like, because like you said, although he's a dummy and he's a dick to those people and a few other people that we've seen, and and all we've seen of Brendan Gleeson is that he seems pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And like a nice dude, and he's been mean to him.
Yeah.
But yet it's Colin Farrell, and like you said, he's rude, but it's because he's just so bluntly honest and zero filters, and that's almost endearing in a way when that happens. And so you kind of you're not disliking this character.
Yeah.
And then you get the rug pulled out from under you that, well, he's here because he just killed a little boy.
Yeah.
Inadvertent or not, a little boy's death is on his hands. And so now you're like, oh, all right. Okay, so my hero of this movie is
that was the other thing.
A kid murderer? That's what we're doing?
Yeah. But yeah, so
spoilers, this is a movie that has no heroes.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But yeah, it goes on. Eventually, he meets the love interest, and he sees a little person at the place, and because that's what gets his attention drawn to the movie set. And he doesn't use the term "little person." He uses a more 2005 or whenever this movie came out term.
I mean, or even before then, he uses the M word a lot. But yeah, it's an interesting aspect that I just want to speak on because I suggested this movie. I remember the party scene deep into it, and all of the characters involved in the party scene, the drug party scene. But I didn't remember Colin Farrell's character is obsessed with this actor who is a little person, and it's on an inappropriate level. And there's also there's although he's extremely rude to those overweight people, it is like I already confirmed, I'm not offended by that because I'm saying it with him of like, y'all are stupid for trying to walk. Like, if that's all steps and it's a spiral, y'all are done. Get the fuck out of there. But then there's also, there's not good things being said about black people in this movie also several times. So I wasn't really thrilled about that. And this viewing of In Bruges kind of made me go like, oh, is Martin McDonough a racist?
There was a point where
is he kind of a prick?
I think there was a thing I put in there like, damn, Brits really do like their villains and stuff to be as offensive as possible. They talk about shit. It's like, well, we know he's a bad person. He says some offensive ass shit.
I'm not sure. I had that conversation, and now I will continue having that conversation in my head, and I just wanted to vocalize it because it's definitely something that I noticed in this watching of like it just started to bump up to me of like, oh wow, all right, so we got like, and it's like, nothing overtly like where you're like, oh, okay, and turn it off or anything like that.
No.
Like he's never like Colin Farrell, but Colin Farrell loves the act. I just wanna find and pull his name if I can. But he's it's just on a weird obsessive level, and like you said, uses the M word an excessive amount that I don't know if in 2008 we knew if that was the wrong term to use or not. I know language evolves and it's always changing, and particularly I know in my lifetime I feel like it has this sect of the community has evolved multiple times. And so I don't know, parts of it rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, well, and then there was like the line where he asked him if he ever thought about killing himself because he was born that way. Sorry. And dude was like, dude, what the fuck kind of question is that to ask somebody?
Right.
And it's like, yeah, that was not smart. But then
and then that character immediately starts getting super racist. For some reason.
Like, the war's coming, man. There's gonna be a war between the blacks and the whites, and all the so-and-so, and they're gonna fight. You gotta pick a side.
It's a little funny. Funny.
I laughed. I laughed. I put it like, because he was like, it's gonna be a war, man, because he's high as shit, and he's just like talking like It took me a while to get to be offended by it because it just seemed like he was just saying some shit. And then they're like, well, what about all they said half caste, but they were saying other minorities. And he's just like, they're going to side with the blacks, man. What about the Pakistanis? The blacks. So the blacks. But then he ends
Vietnamese?
Well, I'm joining the blacks. If the Vietnamese is joining the blacks, I'm not throwing up against all of them. Yeah, that's another thing. He kept bringing up the Vietnamese a lot throughout the movie, too. But obviously that ends up offending Ken, who's like, I had a black wife who was killed by a white man. What side should I be on, huh?
Yeah.
And it's like, what? And then that's when they leave because they're like, yeah, this conversation got a little too far out of hand. Another one I wanted to talk about before that scene, though, was the first date between Ray and the girl, where it should be a horrible first date impression. What do you do? I kill people. Ha ha ha. What do you think? Mostly priests and children. Oh, okay. Do I look at this? Do I look like I kill people? Not really. And then comes out, he done beat up some people and shit just in the bar like. But because he's Colin Farrell, no, he didn't. It wasn't the beating other people. It was the thing where he was talking bad about Bruges, her hometown. She's like, I'm from Bruges. This is my hometown. Well, it's still shit. Blah blah blah. You remember when they killed all those girls in the past? And then he tells like a joke, and she's getting upset in her face as he's trying to tell this joke. But he tells this joke about dead girls and all this stuff, and it's like, damn, that just a horrible first date impression. It's like one of the worst things you can do. Or it would be if he wasn't Colin Farrell and he could get away with doing all of those things. I think we talked about on a previous thing about the whole like ugly guy versus hot guy doing the same thing and how the result is.
Right.
That's a good example of being the more attractive guy. It's like, yeah, at the end of the day, she's still into it. So
he's very charming as he does it.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so that was a funny scene for me, and I'm like, okay, sure. Yeah.
I wrote one single note for this movie, and I've lost where it takes place in the movie timeline.
Okay.
My one single note, because I wanted to make sure I pointed it out. Ugliest dog I've ever seen in my life. Do you remember seeing that dog that Colin Farrell looks at that's being held?
Oh.
Ugliest dog I have ever seen in my life. Like, they had to do a casting call for ugly dogs. I don't know what was wrong with that dog, but it was... it's hard to even tell that it's a dog. At first, you're like, what is that thing? Oh, are those eyeballs? Where are they coming from? Oh my God, it's a dog!
You're not wrong, though. That was an ugly dog. But,
yeah, that was the one thing I wrote down.
What's his name called him? By the way, when Harry gets the call, because eventually Harry gets a call Ken gets a call from Harry, their boss, to kill Ray.
Yeah.
While he's on that call, at first it seems like the way the conversation starts, I'm thinking that he's gonna probably tell him to kill Ray because he's like, make sure he's not in the house, make sure all of this. But as he starts talking to him about the city of Bruges on the phone, I'm like, oh, he's gonna kill both of them. Ken's gonna die before he hangs up this phone. He's distracted him so he can get him to walk to the window. And he also sounds like he's testing him. What'd he say? About this? And he said that. He actually said that? He ain't say some other shit? He ain't at a bar with an actress right now, talking about little people? He ain't doing that? Like, that's what I expected. And it's like, yeah, you can betray me, I kill you. I was a little bit early on that aspect of the story, but he gets the order to kill him, and you get the park scene where Ray has had enough of trying to live with the guilt of having killed a child, which he should have guilt for killing a child, so I guess we'll give him that. But like we know, Ken's supposed to be trying to kill him, so he comes to him, gets ready to shoot, but as he does it, he sees Ray trying to kill himself, and he's like, okay, I can't. I know.
Yeah. Split second, abandons him assassinating and stops. Like, yeah, it might not even be a decision process. It was as quick as maybe even just gut instinct of just saying, no, what are you doing?
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's like, okay, no.
Yeah. No.
You can't kill yourself. I'm allowed to. I'm allowed to. What are you doing?
Right. Colin Farrell turns around and looks at the gun in his hand. He's like, what are you doing?
Nothing.
You were going to kill me. You're going to shoot me in the back of the head.
It's okay for you to kill me, but I can't kill myself. What the hell? Which Harry also brings up later. He's like, so let me get this straight. Not only did you not kill him, you stopped him from killing himself, which would have helped both of us out.
Yeah, would have solved all of our problems, and apparently his.
It's like, he's dead. You didn't have to do it, and I don't have to deal with him being alive. It's perfectly fine.
In hindsight,
he's not wrong.
Two more people would have been alive.
Yeah. But
it was all for naught.
It was indeed. And eventually, obviously, he did try to leave. We'll fast forward a bit. Harry finds out, and he's like, all right, now, because Ken calls him, he's like, I ain't do it, fuck you, do something about it if you want to. Click.
But of course, the fight that you referenced in there on their first date, good job making sure we foreshadow important events, comes back to play because that dude who turns out to be Canadian, not American, went to the police and they have stopped Colin Farrell's train and they are dragging him out in handcuffs. Quote, "We're taking you back to Bruges."
Yeah, it's like, well, that's not going to end well for anybody.
Yeah.
And then sure enough,
Wah, 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 wah.
you got fucking. I like British people. One thing I like about.
I like British people.
I like British people. But no, one thing I like about.
I like them British people. Them British people talk funny, but I like them.
It's true though. They do talk funny, and I like their
Ray Fiennes is incredible in this movie.
Is that Harry?
That's Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is fucking insane. He is, oh my god.
I love the back and forth that they have, like from the shootout from the tower, like him talking to what's his name in the tower and all this shit. Like, well, come on, shoot it. I can't shoot you now. I don't pick up the gun. I'm not doing it.
He tells him he's got cut kids, whatever. You can't tell me I have cut kids.
Yeah, he's yelling at him about you or your cut kids. Take it back. I retracted it, haven't I? Or at the fucking hotel where they're like talking about like, go outside, go around the corner. I know. I love that kind of like British banter thing. They've got the whole idle banter like back and forth thing down. And it's always like science for them in their media.
Speaking of that, of that hotel part, when they're like, you jump in the river and I'll run around. That's one of the things that I hate about the end of this is like how confident Colin Farrell's character is of like, oh no, I'm miles away, he's just like sitting there like, hey, what's up, bro? Bye. You ain't gonna get me. And then Ray Fiennes is like, well, dude, you're like 30 yards away. And I'm a
shot.
And I'm a professional, so
I hired you.
I probably have lots of bullets. I'm only gonna need one, but I got lots of shots to attempt this. Let's see here. Like, that's the one thing that annoys me.
I also don't like how the live rounds he took from the actor's house, oh, not the actor, but the girl's house to go with the blank gun. I like how those didn't really come into play at all. That gun never gets fired, even with the live rounds in it.
That's funny.
It gets dropped into the river.
Literally, yeah.
So it never comes into play. Instead, Colin Farrell sits there looking like a fucking moron. It's too far.
However, the gun runner's special head popping bullets do come into play.
They do.
Harry loads them up specifically, and our friend, the actor. Here I got it. Jordan Prentice, who does a great job as this actor who's in Bruges shooting a movie, and like we said, Ray just kind of becomes obsessed with him in a weird way, and they have a big drug binge night and all of this. We're not explained on what movie he's making, but in the final scene, for some reason, he is in a schoolboy's uniform.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he gets caught in the gunfire in an almost identical circumstance to the reason why Ray is in Bruges. Harry finally kills Ray, and through Ray's body hits Jordan, and he's got those special bullets that would maybe take away any kind of identifying features that Jordan isn't
a child,
a young boy.
Yeah, and seeing that,
Harry had a very specific quote.
Yeah, I forget I forget the specific wording, but he's like, fair is fair, essentially. Like, I gotta live by my code. It's like, he's like, I get it now, but he's like, I get how it could be an accident, but kudos to him for killing himself and being like that true to his word, because earlier he's like, you can't kill a child and get away with it, or something along those lines, you know. There's no second chance, you can't kill a child and be rewarded, you gotta pay.
Right.
And he's like, accident or not. And sure enough, he was like, yep, same thing here. And what's his name? Colin Farrell, he was shot through, so it was hard for him to talk, but he seemed like he was trying to tell him it's not a kid. He's no.
I think he was saying like it's not like that or something.
Yeah.
It says something to the extent of that, like gargling through blood kind of thing.
Exactly. And Harry's like instantly on the spot. The conviction he had to be like, I'm a man of my word. But even when he left to go to Bruges, he was telling his wife, it's a matter of honor. And you see, like, whatever his sense of honor is, he sticks to that shit. Some lawful evil ass shit. I actually kind of. He's not a good guy, but he has a code he follows.
For sure. Absolutely.
So,
it's things like that make me say, like, if he's the one, we know he's the one who directed Ray to assassinate that priest in the flashback. So from what we also know of Harry, that priest must have done some shit.
Yeah. Harry killed the guy that killed Ken's wife too.
Yeah. Yeah. We get that story.
Or that's why Ken works for Harry.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, he may be a bad guy, but he also is one of those I kill worse guys or badder guys. But, yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much covered the movie. You got anything else you want to talk about from it, or things?
No, yeah, I think we covered it well. As far as roles, I mean, it's pretty clear here that I'm Ken and you're Ray.
Yeah. I would love to be Harry because he's funny and angry.
Yeah.
Like that guy, the first time I hear, like, you see him like talk, or when he gets the message from Ken and he's slamming the phone, I'm like, oh, he is not a happy person.
Yeah. Or when he's telling the
You're running out of an object.
When he's telling the kid who got blinded by Ray, when he's telling him off, he's like, basically like, you sound like you're a little bitch and you need to step off.
You got shot in the eye with your own gun with blanks in it. There's so much wrong with that statement. No, that sounds like that's your fault. Grow the fuck up. What? He's like, I thought you wanted to kill this guy. I do, but you still fucked up. You're still a fucking idiot. Like, that doesn't change things. Uh-huh. He bodied you, but I'm going to kill him now. Hold that L. But obviously, I can't do the accents, but if I could, I would love to play any role in this.
I mean, they don't need to be Irish.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. But yeah, so I guess final thoughts.
I mean, it could be in Boise.
In Boise. In Boise, and we're from Joyzy. Yeah, so final thoughts. Solid film. Solid acting by those who needed it to be. Like, I actually enjoyed the acting. When, like, Colin Farrell, like you said, he had the blunt, kind of, blatant, stupidly honest character to him that also was not a good guy. Like, wasn't supposed to be likable, but somehow was. He played that off well, and the moments when he needed to be sad because he's being, he's tearing himself up with guilt for what he did, rightfully so. Calm down, people at home. But he's tearing himself up with guilt for what he did. He was doing a really good job with that. Same thing with Ken in the moments when he needed to be. Harry, fun villain. I already said something about the villains being offensive because I said that earlier. But no, I enjoyed it. you said you saw it like once a decade and a half ago, and now you see it again. It'll probably be something like that for me, where I don't watch it a lot, but it's not like if someone turns it on, I'm gonna be like, that fucking movie, get it off my screen.
Yeah, I mean, there are parts of this movie that I really like, and then there are parts of this movie that I butt up against. But overall, it's very interesting, and like those moments when the characters get into that rhythm, dialogue wise, like you talked about, I feel like that is the gold of this movie, and finding those moments in this
Some
movie
good chemistry.
are they're really worth the watch.
Yeah, some good chemistry throughout the characters. So
Yeah.
that's In Bruges. Also, sorry, the love interest actress, she did good too. She did a great job too. I feel like we just skipped over her role. We just skipped over
Fleur Delacour in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Ah, fair enough.
How did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
I'm sorry. What? But
For my hairy heads out there.
yeah, she did a great job as
JK.
well. But we go to. So yes, that's the movie. So we've been doing award season. I think we've covered a lot of things. Probably have one more thing to wrap it up, but I had my one thing, my one contribution to this. But
we're gonna do one more to just kind of put a bow on award season. We're not there yet. You know, it's by the time this next one comes out, we should be at all nominations have been released, and we probably only have the Oscars left to go. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up award season with one more thing, and we haven't done a true Best Picture winner for award season yet. We have done one, and that was
The Departed.
The Departed. The Departed, we did a while back, but we have not done a Best Picture winner for this little award season that we're doing. And I thought, why not any better than checking out, for a great comparison, we just watched In Bruges. It was hot in award season, but couldn't really get there.
Okay.
However, there was another movie that just kept chugging along in the hype and made itself all the way to Best Picture at the Oscars, and we are going to watch 2008's Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh.
So that should be a pretty good time.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I thought I had a comment to say about it, but I didn't, except for the fact that I heard a lot about it. Didn't watch it because it was a Best Picture winner, and I'm weird. But I'm looking forward to seeing it now. Obviously, the movie's fantastic. Gonna be fun to watch. So yeah,
It may not be. Don't say that.
I mean,
it could be terrible. Crash exists.
True. So
It won Best Picture, and it's terrible. Come at me, Jazz.
You don't even know if he likes it.
I know. I'm coming for you, Jazz.
Yeah, so if you want to see more of us and even see some stuff with my boy Super Jazz, you can
Jazz.
You can see more videos on this channel. He's even been here for a couple episodes of TGHS. Also, Super Jazz and I have reviewed a lot of the DBZ movies and stuff, and some of my earlier things. You can also find me elsewhere on YouTube doing my other podcast with Super Jazz, the Whatever We Want podcast. New episodes every week, every Wednesday. Very fun to watch, just talking about just that, whatever we want. I also have a Twitter and a Twitch at Giotavi. That is GIOTAVI.
Come on in. Stop on by.
Thank you very much. And Bill, you got anything to say to the folks? Any shout outs you want to make?
No.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Adiosness.